Greens and Salutations, my YouTube family. Today's video will be about talking about tiny homes and talking about their costs versus regular sized homes, and then their benefits, and then versus cons and stuff whatnot. So the first talk is for price, and basically for tiny homes, you can probably build a tiny home, well in Canada especially, but you're gonna need to worry about like the permits, the labor costs, the building supplies, the furnace, the water heater, and then paying your labor like to the electrician, plumber, construction workers, again all that, and then the materials, which is probably going to be quite a bit, but that can probably range, I'd say, anywhere from let's say 75 to $100,000, and that's a guess. I'm guessing. I was reading an article online, and I'm going to be posting that on my other YouTube channel. But yeah, so basically, it said there that a tiny home can cost anywhere from like 80,000 to 150,000, which just seems kind of high, honestly. But maybe that's like for a really nice one. I'm not sure. But then another article I was reading was they were giving different price ranges and different categories, and those ones were much more reasonable and probably more likely what an actual cost would be. But yeah, so let's say like for your average 300 to 400 square feet tiny home, that's actually like built on land that is not on wheels. I would say that probably would cost about, with by the time it's finished and everything, you're looking at anywhere from 80,000. No, probably from 75,000 to 125,000, I'm guessing, with buying the land and whatnot. And in a bigger city, that's going to be higher, and then in a smaller town, that's going to be lower, obviously. And like I said, I'm going to be doing another video on my other channel, putting out the actual costs and then going more in depth on this. But yeah, and basically why it's better to go with a tiny house these days is because if you look at the whole world, you're seeing that housing prices are going way higher. Nobody can afford them because wages are not keeping up. In fact, they're going down. They're not, for what they should be. They're not going up. They're going down actually. Whereas in other countries, I think I read in China, the wages have gone up compared to like North America, which the wages are going down, and they haven't really gone anywhere. But then the cost of living's gone up. Yeah, anyways. So honestly, owning a tiny home these days is a much better idea, both financially and then if you really need a lot of items in your house, yeah, it's not the right way to go. Like if you're not a minimalist, it's not the way to go. But like if you like having minimal things, then yeah, building a tiny home is the perfect idea. Um, and why owning a big home is kind of not a good idea these days is because you have to pay a really high mortgage, and then higher insurance, higher uh, what else, and then higher utilities. Whereas if it's a smaller place, you're going to probably be using less utilities. Yeah, so those are some of the benefits and cons of owning a tiny house and a big house. And honestly, if you're like a young person starting out like me, honestly, my advice to you is to work on getting a tiny home, because that's really how you're going to get ahead in this life, is by living in a smaller space. And then honestly, if you want to upgrade to a bigger place, you totally can. But make sure that you're at least saving the money when you're living at your parents or wherever you're living. Like get affordable rent if that's the case, and make sure that you're saving as much as you can towards either that tiny house or towards building your bigger house or buying a bigger house. Anyways, that's my thoughts, and have a great day, everyone. Farewell.